Just quickly, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
Tom Brady is 43 and threw for 43 touchdowns in the NFL. And he's as hot as any quarterback going into the playoffs.
Okay, so here's the honest question. Who's actually the better quarterback?
Well, physically, it's almost impossible. Without question, physically, it's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the way he can run, his feet, his movement in the pocket, his arm it's once in a lifetime. I've never seen anything like it. I said it a couple weeks ago. He's the greatest thrower of the football in NFL history. Now, you know, I've watched a lot of football. I'm a big student of the game, always have been. And I didn't see Sammy Ball throw it in person, but they were throwing rugby balls back then. Right. So it's a little different. But who's just a better pure, if you just say quarterback, I will say Tom Brady. The greatest talent I've seen is Aaron Rodgers.
It's an interesting
So
comparison.
there's a little dilemma there, but when I say that, Tom Brady's really, really talented, and I never take that for granted when I watch him play.
And this guy's doing it at 43, still playing at
longevity?
an elite level. But not just longevity of just showing up so you can, punch the clock. Longevity and excellence, longevity in spanning multiple eras of football.
That's fair.
And still being great.
He's definitely the GOAT of football, 100%. That's done. You got to think about Drew Brees. You got to think about Peyton Manning. You got to think about Russell Wilson. You got to think about all these other quarterbacks that's come, made it to a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, MVP this year. Look how hard it is for him to get back to a Super Bowl. So when we think about him winning 7, and then you have Patrick Mahomes out there, and then you have other guys that can potentially come along the way, it's going to be hard for them to do it. This dude is 43 years of age. We're talking about the injury rate in the National Football League. To me, it is done.
My point comes back to these guys making $30 plus $35 million a year. And one of the reasons that their agents and them, by extension, justify making that much money is because you have to do what's right for the position. You know who's been middle of the road paid quarterback over the last couple of years? Well, you guessed it, Tom Brady. Tom Brady just turned 42 years old. He gets rewarded with an $8 million raise. An $8 million raise to $23 million. An $8 million raise, hear what I'm saying, to $23 million, which is still $12 million less than these guys who are at the top end who had to make that much money because they had to advance the other quarterbacks around the National Football League. What about advancing your damn team instead of the other quarterbacks around the league? I've heard this narrative for years. You have to take the next step market deal. You have to do it. Because if you don't, then it's a disservice to everybody else that's in your position that are coming behind you. Not on your team, that are coming behind you on someone else's team. Well, let's just take a quick recap of what Tom Brady has done the last 3 seasons, because we tend to forget that he has been paid about $15 million over these last 3 seasons. Well, he went and won a Super Bowl against the Atlanta Falcons in unbelievable, highly entertaining fashion, especially in the second half. He won the MVP the following season at 40 years old. Obviously, they lost that Super Bowl to the aforementioned Philadelphia Eagles, but he was the MVP at 40 years old. And if it hadn't been for a couple of really great sequences for the Philadelphia Eagles, he might have won that one as well. And then instead of having a hangover from losing the Super Bowl, what does he do? He goes back to the Super Bowl and wins this year against, or at least last season, against the LA Rams. So, in recap, Super Bowl champion, league MVP, Super Bowl runner-up, Super Bowl champion, making $15 million a year, taking below-market deals so that his team can be better. Not the other quarterbacks that are coming behind him in the National Football League. And so I see this deal from Tom Brady, and I get really it frustrates me that he's really the only one of all of these guys who have made a ton of money for a lot of their careers that sees the big picture, right? And we don't talk about it this way. We talk about Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've seen, his skill set. He's got 1 championship. Tom Brady's got 6. Russell Wilson, God, he's so dynamic. Every year I watch him, and it's amazing what he does without an offensive line. And ever since Marshawn Lynch went away, that run game hasn't been as special. He should win the MVP. Guess what? He doesn't. Tom Brady wins the MVP. Right? Look at Carson Wentz. He's a superstar in the making. He's the future. $32 million. It's well worth it. We got a bargain for $32 million for a guy who's been in the league for 3 years, been hurt for most of it, and hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It frustrates me, especially when I look at a guy like Tom Brady, who, yeah, maybe he does have the benefit of having a supermodel for a wife. He can't help it that he found Giselle, or they found each other, I should say. They have a beautiful family. She makes a ton of money, and maybe he doesn't need it. But along the way, he's continually given the New England Patriots a market rate deal. He's continually restructured his contract so that they can save money on their salary cap. Oh, by the way, his $8 million raise this year and restructure that pushes out to 2021 saved the New England Patriots $5.5 million on the salary cap. So are we surprised? Right? We always, what do the Patriots do? What do the Patriots do? They don't really do anything. What does their star do? What is the best quarterback that's ever graced the NFL gridiron? What does he do? He's unselfish. And so when we talk about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and all these, and even Kirk Cousins and these other, Matt Stafford, they're selfish. I get it. You want to get yours. You want to make much money as you can. But when you're thinking about the other quarterbacks that are coming behind you, as opposed to the other players on your team that are necessary to win a championship, then what are we talking about? We're talking about the reason that the New England Patriots consistently win championships, because their best player, we always say this, best player's got to lead by example. Your best player's got to be your hardest worker. Your best player's got to be the one that everybody looks up to. Well, not only is Tom Brady that for the New England Patriots, he's also ridiculously and grossly unselfish to the point where he doesn't care if he's the 16th highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. I actually think he's now like 9th or 10th or whatever it is. He finally got himself into the top 10 of highest paid quarterbacks in the National Football League. So I'm never going to be surprised by the New England Patriots, because they found a leader who gets it. It's not about those other quarterbacks. It's not about the precedent that's got to be set for the signal callers that are going to come after him. It's about the guys on his team. There's a reason that the New England Patriots win Super Bowls.
Brandon, the point you're making, which is what he does for the team Monday through Friday, the way he makes everyone believe more. I think you've talked about the pressure he puts on guys to do extra reps after practice, to work extra hard. That is where, I know it sounds odd, but that is where his fingerprints are even on some of the defensive success. His fingerprints are even on some of the offensive line success, right. Even though those guys are their own men doing their own thing. But it's the faith they have in the ability to win and the pressure they have to commit to excellence.
Tom Brady at 43 doing this is unprecedented in football. That's one. Two, guys, he just got to a brand new team. I don't care how loaded it is. It was COVID. You couldn't practice with the team. Facilities were shut down throughout the league. You couldn't even get to know your teammates the same way. It was a brand new coach. And Arians is a good, respected coach. He left Bill Belichick, the only head coach he'd ever known in 20 years in the NFL, for a brand new head coach. He had to play all his games on the road in the playoffs. Washington's no great shakes, but they have a real defense. And then he had to face Drew Brees, whose team, Brees and the Saints, in his own division, beat him twice that year. Drew Brees with everything to play for. Retirement looming, a great team around him. Fourth quarter, tie game. What's going to happen? Brady's what happened. And then he had to go on the road to face Aaron Rodgers, the league MVP, with an excellent team around him. And once again, late in the game, the opponent didn't come through, but Brady did. Tom Brady, this is easily his most impressive career accomplishment in a career full of the most impressive accomplishments. This is number one.
That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day. Thanks for watching.